yeah, it's all worth it in the end. To raise the cup and be out here enjoying it with the city.
Your brother's an NFL player before you. Did he give you any advice on what to expect, and how did that compare to what you found?
Yeah, no, he was great throughout it all. I don't think throughout this whole process I could have done it without him, and he just reminded me to enjoy it and really soak it in. You never know when you'll be back, and yeah, it's just trying to do my best job of following that advice and soak it all in.
I've gotten a lot of advice, Trevor, about guys taking this for granted, not taking this for granted. Doesn't necessarily, as great as this team's been, doesn't necessarily come every year.
Yeah, you definitely can't take this kind of stuff for granted. It's so hard to get here. These guys have obviously done it a few times, but you never know when it's going to be your last time. And yeah, the guys, James made it his first year and hasn't been back since, and you never know what could happen. So you really got to enjoy these moments when they come around.
What's your estimate on how many hours of sleep since Monday night?
Oh, I don't know, but I think I'm still running on adrenaline from the other night, so it's okay.
You're clearly going to be one of the building blocks for this team going forward. Young player as you are, what's the potential for this team? You got 3 already. What's in your mind? You got a number in your mind?
No, I think you just gotta come in every year. You can't. You gotta kind of as the summer goes along, kind of forget what you did last year and just keep working to go forward and go from there and take each year as they come and. Yeah, just come in as ready as you can be every training camp to be successful.
Trevor, thank you very much.
Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who overcame 2 serious injuries and still made it back for the Stanley Cup final, and he will get his name etched on that beautiful chalice. The parade was supposed to start at 10 o'clock. They're running just a little bit behind. We're about 23 minutes after 10 right now. Here's Chicago time, and the double-decker buses are beginning to rev their engines and make their way from the United Center to the parade route. We talk about players overcoming injuries. We found out on the Tampa Bay side, Ben Bishop was playing with a torn groin. Tyler Johnson had a wrist injury as well. But when you saw a guy like Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who had 2 major injuries, fight to get back, and he finally gets back in the Stanley Cup Finals, it speaks to the dedication at every level, even from guys that maybe you don't expect to see it from.
And the most underrated thing of the organization is their strength and conditioning department, which does such a magnificent job. I mean, you see the shape guys are in, but to get Kaner back, to get Van Riemsdyk back, and his brother James was on the ice the other night, and he said, "Can't believe this. Look at this. This is what I want." He goes, "I'm so happy for my brother." It was cool to see.
Yeah, they don't get ready, they stay ready. And I think that helps with recovery and getting back from injuries. And, I got to take the time to say it. Props to Ben Bishop, man. Being a goalie, you need your legs so much just to move laterally. And you could tell those last couple games he was hurting, but he was still out there.
Battling.
He did not do a bad job. These were all tight games. It really could have gone either way. And to me, that's just a testament to the heart of a hockey player. So Ben Bishop, my hat is off to you.
And Johnny Oduya playing with a torn tendon in his elbow. I mean, guys are just manning up.
Yeah, and you talk about Trevor Van Riemsdyk coming back to a defensive core. I think you realize how much you miss Michael Rozabal, who goes down in the clincher against the Minnesota Wild. Now, Mother Nature had her impact on the Stanley Cup arriving a little late to the United Center. It also affected Michael Rozabal. He flew back into town, had all intentions to be on the ice with the Blackhawks during the Cup celebration, but he was caught in traffic because of the rainstorm. He arrives at the United Center just a few minutes late as they were coming off the ice and as the party was spilling into the dressing room. But he was at the United Center yesterday going through his rehab, his ankle rehab, and he went out on the ice and he hoisted the cup. And just another little footnote to this journey.
And still hopes to come back. He says, "I'm going to play again, and I want to be back as a Chicago Blackhawk." Very cool.
What would be some of the things you remember most about not just the Stanley Cup playoffs, but this season in general?
Well, I'm going to remember the night, the Kane injury, because Derrick Rose got hurt the same night.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting there, and we see Kane going off, and it doesn't look good, and all of a sudden you check Twitter, and there's Derrick Rose goes out. That one sticks in my mind. And then seeing him on the ice the first night the playoffs started when our guy's back, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, for me, I'm just going to remember the playoffs, and how it was a team effort,
Good point.
Not a lot gets said about Scott Darling, and I think a lot of negative criticism gets heaped on Corey Crawford. He's inconsistent, he's this, he's that. Well, he's won 2 cups, and, who knows? He could have been injured. They like to keep things under wraps if they don't have to be vocal about it. And Scott Darling, steps up, and he knocks it out of the park in that series against Nashville.
As a Chicago native, you can appreciate Scott Darling became the very first Chicago native to get his name etched on the Stanley Cup with the Chicago Blackhawks.
There's a little bit of trivia for you.
I mean, that's, I think you made a great point with a total team effort. We talk about the Stars, and the Stars came through. Certainly, in clutch time, you had Kane and Keith in Game 6. But it was Vermette, Versteeg, Corey Crawford. It was like the all-redemption group at times that really helped the Blackhawks to this 6th championship. Guys that were all sat at different points of the Stanley Cup playoffs, all played huge roles in the Stanley Cup final.
Teuvo Teravainen. And if you look at all the championships, who thought Andre Iguodala would be the MVP of the NBA Finals, and all of a sudden he is. Guys stepping up, doing just a little bit. You get your opportunity, you got to deliver.
That shows you the depth of the team. The opposite team will focus on the Kane, Taves, and then you got to worry about Jordan, and you got to worry about Shaw. There really is no 4th line. There's no 3rd line. It really could be interchangeable, and I think that's what helped them, win this cup.
You talked about your relationship with Duncan Keith. Any of the guys that you've become friends with over the years?
Yeah, Sharpie, Shaw. I'm buddies with a lot of them. And I think they can relate. There's all the bumps and the bruises, and they can relate to what it is that the fighters and the wrestlers go through too. Sometimes you don't feel like going out there, but you tape it up.
Show goes
on.
You
work through it. Absolutely. When they won in 2013, Sharpie invited me out, and I spent the night with them, and it was pretty interesting. I can't really tell a lot of the stories that took place that night here, but you can imagine. It's a wild night, but it's fun to watch those guys. They're such a tight-knit group, a brotherhood really, and just to watch them hang out, and I was humbled and flattered. They invited me into their small circle, and yeah, it was nuts. So I can't imagine what they did last night.
As the guys won a lot of championships and belts, are you amazed at all how that 3-foot, 35-pound Chalice is just such a magnet to smiles wherever it goes?
Yeah, and I think that's why I love hockey so much. There's so much tradition to it, and taking it around, and it's people, everybody gets their week with the cup. They bring it to other sporting events. They bring it to picnics. They bring it to the local rink where they learn how to skate, and it's very much just so awesome to see. That thing just lights people up.
You make a great point. And 3 and 6 years, and there are still people on the Cup Tracker app, and they got to go find the cup, and they're reduced to tears when they get to take a picture.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably moving for people.
It's also been interesting to see this team grow up over the last half dozen years. Those 7 core guys that have now been a part of 3 championships. The first 2010 Stanley Cup celebration, a lot more liquids involved into it. 2013, you start seeing some babies placed into the Chalice, and we'll see where it goes in 2015, but it's been kind of cool to watch this team grow up over the last half dozen years.
I'll never get tired of it, and I know all those guys will never get tired of hoisting that 35 pounds over their head.
If you want to follow CM Punk on Twitter, you can follow him at CM Punk, at the Catman. If you have any comments about today's festivities, you can check in at Hawks Talk, and we'll try to pass those along to Punk or Kaplan or whoever else along the way. How about the growth of social media? I think the NHL's they've been pretty progressive here in the last couple of years of getting their message out via Twitter and different social media platforms.
Well, it's amazing how you can reach people in a matter of moments. The guy has 2.2 million Twitter followers.
I didn't even know that.
And your fans are legendary with their loyalty to you.
Yeah, they're very passionate. They're very loyal, much like Blackhawks fans, much like hockey fans. So yeah, if I can turn anybody on to, hey, watch this hockey game. This is great stuff. It's fun to watch. I'm glad I can help out.
What other things are you looking forward to seeing here as the parade gets going and makes its way here eventually to Soldier Field?
Well, I want to hear from Jonathan Toews because Brian Campbell said to us last week that he was playing golf with Jonathan between the Minnesota series and the Anaheim series. They had 8 days off. And he goes, I got to ask you, man, you've won 2 gold medals, you've won 2 cups, you're trying to win a 3rd, you've made all the money you're ever going to need. So what gets you revved up? And he said, because the day I retire and take my skates off for the last time, I want to know I won as many cups as is humanly possible.
Yeah.
That's what moves me. And he said that's why he's the best leader in pro sports.
Do you think he is the best leader? I mean, you've seen, obviously, your sport, and you're now making the transformation to MMA. Do you believe Toews is one of the best leaders, if not the, in professional sports?
I think he's a leader of leaders. I think you can look in that locker room, and I think anybody can wear that A. I think anybody can wear that C. But I think everybody is very selfless, and Toews definitely is that leader. I think he's cool, he's calm, he's collected, he's everything you want to be on the ice. But it's outside the room where he really leads the team, and he's going to do it for years to come. Like the nucleus is there, and it's a testament to his leadership how the Hawks have continued to win with the salary cap and with players coming in and out and leaving, and still being able to keep the team positive. And he believes in all those guys, and they all believe in him.
Yeah, I think also too, when you see they're down in this series, there's no panic.
No, I've been here before.
And you look at the record under Joel Quenneville in games 4 through 7. 43 and 13 or 14. I mean, that is incredible. They're 30 and 30 in games 1 through 3. When it's money time, when the chips are down, I mean, those guys rise to the occasion.
And going into Game 6, there was a question to Duncan Keith, what kind of a speech, who's going to give it? He goes,